Hey everyone, you're here with Mark Bowell from PerfectGardens.com. So have you ever wondered when to switch from vegetative newts to flowering newts when growing autoflower plants? Well, in this video, we're going to get into it.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We got our $2.99 membership, and we have a VIP if you need a little more one-on-one. Link down in the description.
Stephen, I just want to say thank you so much for posting this question. I actually get this question quite often, and I thought it would be a great little video. So let's go over to the Fox Farm feeding schedule. Although this information is going to be the same for all feeding schedules, doesn't matter what nutrient line you have. Obviously, as you can see right here, the 18-12. So in this feeding schedule, this is for regular plant, whether you have your vegetative growth and your flowering growth. Well, for an autoflower plant, most autoflower plants will stay in vegetative growth for 2 weeks up to about 4 to 5 weeks. And then at that point, they'll go into flowering. So what I personally would recommend is to feed your plants for the first 2 weeks of very light vegetative growth, no matter what. I mean, really, they're coming from seed. They're going to be, after they pop, for about 2 weeks to about 5 weeks. Because remember, regular plants have a minimum of a 6 weeks pre-flowering cycle, so they won't flower out at all. That's a regular plant. But autoflower plants, they're going to stay in vegetative growth for 2 weeks to up to about 5 weeks max, absolute max. So for me, I personally would recommend to give a very light vegetative feed for the first 3 weeks, and then I'd switch over to a transition feed schedule for weeks 4, 5, and 6. By roughly around week 6, you should start to see signs of flowering. And at that point, I would go ahead and start giving it my bloom schedule at that point. And remember, guys, we're giving them a transition nutrient. So even if they're in vegetative growth or even if they're in flowering growth, that transition nutrients will provide what the plant needs no matter what. All the rest stays the same. Your pH, your total solids, your EC, you're checking your runoff, heat, light intensity. Just because you're growing an autoflower plant doesn't mean you could forget about the basics and doesn't mean you could forget about the light schedule. Because I personally have never grown autoflower plants, I've always just been with my crew that grows them, and they've always just introduced them to me. I personally cannot honestly recommend a light feeding schedule for you. You know, for me, in my mind, plants grow at nighttime, but they also grow during the day. So it just kind of thinking it out for myself. If I had an autoflower plant that I knew no matter what was going to flower, and if I had ideal growing environment, temperature, and humidity throughout the day, personally, I'd probably keep them under 18 hours of light and allow them to keep flowering as long as the environment is healthy. If I'm having heat, temperature stress, and all those other issues and humidity stress, and I'm battling certain things, I might have a 12 and 12 and really run a regular flowering cycle schedule with these plants, because the light at night is the heater. During the day, it's cool, so it's creating a more consistent growing environment. I would love it if anyone that is growing autoflower strains to please post your viewpoints and comments around this, because I'm only looking to educate myself more around autoflower plants. Like I said, in my own personal, in my mind, I'm thinking if you have a great, healthy growing environment, I would allow the lights to run. I would turn them off during my peak hours where I'm being charged the most amount of power. But the remainder of the time, as long as I had a controlled growing environment and it wasn't too hot, I would go ahead and flower the full for as much time as possible under the lights. I can hear my daughter, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great grow, everyone.
Another thing I also noticed with Fox Farm was how much less flower was on the plants at the end of the grow. Yeah, the bud was rock hard. It was actually really nice and beautiful, had a decent smell, but the yield was also dramatically less. And then it hit my second issue right.